Let's jump to this next story and get back to the business. We got this from SCOTUS blog. Supreme Court appears likely to uphold transgender athlete bans. And the reason why is because when Justice Alito asked the ACLU, can you define for me, for the purpose of equal protections, what is a woman? She goes, well, we don't have a definition. And he's like, then how can you ask for protection of something you can't define? And of course, it's a little bit more legalese than that, but here you go.
If it does that, then is it not necessary for there to be, for equal protection purposes, if that is challenged under the Equal Protection Clause, an understanding of what it means to be a boy or a girl or a man or a woman?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that definition? For equal protection purposes, what does it mean to be a boy or a girl or a man or a woman?
Sorry, I misunderstood your question. I think that the underlying enactment, whatever it was, the policy, the law, we'd have to have an understanding of how the state or the government was just understanding that term to figure out whether or not someone was excluded.
No, because it's a federal issue, so the federal government would decide. But continue, lady.
Do not have a definition for the court, and we don't take issue with we're not disputing the definition here. What we're saying is that the way it applies in practice is to exclude birth-sex males categorically from women's teams, and that there's a subset of those birth-sex males where it doesn't make sense to do so according to the state's own interest.
Well, how can a court determine whether there's discrimination on the basis of sex without knowing what sex means for equal protection purposes?
I think here we just know that we basically know that that they've identified pursuant to their own statute, Lindsay qualifies as a birth-sex male, and she's being excluded categorically from the women's teams as the statute. So we're taking the statute's definitions as we find them, and we don't dispute them.
And there it is. It wasn't as comedic as we hoped it would be, but she says, we don't have a definition. The ACLU literally went to the Supreme Court to argue that males should be allowed to be in female sports, and when asked what is the distinction between the two, they said, we don't know.
They had time to learn.
Well, yes, but the issue is that, as we've all known, these people are retards. This is performative, and it's retardation. If you would actually hire a lawyer to go to the Supreme Court and say, I don't have a definition of what is a woman, you are retarded.
I feel like it's unserious that they even had to hear this case. It makes me embarrassed for our country that this case got to the Supreme Court.
Can you hear Alito? He's just like, how?
Yeah.
I love that guy's logic.
He's about to crash out.
It's just like, it's exhausting to hear all these arguments. Oh, well, we need to have protections for men that want to behave like they're women. It's like, no, we actually don't at all. There's no protections necessary. This is ridiculous and unserious.
I also want to stop using the word transgender because it's not a thing. It doesn't exist. And when I do my videos, I try really hard not to say the word transgender because no one is transgender. That's not real.
I hear what you're saying. I guess I could agree in that you're describing like an appearance, but you do need a word to describe something, even if it is a gradient. And what I mean by that is not that gender is a sliding scale, whatever the stupid thing they say is, but like, if a dude is hopped up on, like, if a dude does a bunch of crack, right? We have a word for that. It's crackhead.
Right.
And if someone pumps themselves full of female hormones so they grow tits and then they put on makeup, we have a word for that. It's trans woman. Yeah, but that I disagree because some are, and some there's a combination of mental disorders that envelop, that can manifest in the appearance of what we describe as maybe transvestite or whatever, but
a cross-dresser.
Yeah, but that doesn't.
But I know what you're saying.
We're saying they pump themselves full of drugs.
Right.
Redditor,
it's
maybe.
Different than just dressing.
So like a person we describe as a trans woman. Actually, you know what? I got to stop. You know what? You're right. Because the definition from the left is that you don't have to do those things to be trans, and trans literally doesn't mean anything anymore. It doesn't have a rigid definition, actually.
No. And I don't like to play into the idea that, oh yeah, this person is transgender, this transgender person. No, this person is either a boy or a girl.
Castrato.
And I just hate it. Oh, it's disgusting. Especially as a woman, I cannot take that stuff. It is disgusting to me.
Well, have you seen all the memes they've been making about the thirsty middle-aged women who want to bang ice guys?
Yes, I have, and I have a funny. So some of my bodyguards are like super jacked, and when I go out to these liberal old woman protests, without
Thirst.
fail, they always. Your bodyguard has big muscles.
The
You
thirst
gotta
comes
say,
out.
you said, do you want to touch him?
Yeah, well, you know.
She's like, I'm parched.
Do you want him to roll up his sleeve and show his forearms and flex?
Yeah, so it's just, it's almost like giving these old ladies a stroke out here, bringing these guys around them.
See, this is my point. I bring this up because it's just like, look, women. It's not universal, obviously, right? There's people who are gay, but these ladies, man, they can't help it. They see a big, strong man, and I bring that up just because it's funny that we have this stupid argument over, men and women are the same thing, and a guy can be a woman. It's like, was it Ryan Long who did the joke where he was like, he said he knows this trans man who said to him that she used to cry every day because she was in the wrong body. And then he goes, did you ever stop to think that maybe God nailed it? Like, you're crying every day? Like, guys don't do that. And he said, could you imagine a guy who was like, I'm actually a woman. Let's go lift weights and smash. And like, you're like, yeah, maybe God nailed it, But that is funny too, because the premise of that joke is quite literally this woman was crying every day. I think that shows you that there's two things: the fetishist trans woman and the trans men who cry all the time. Like, that's a guy, that's a woman. They just have some kind of mental disorder or what's the right word?
Bless you.
Disorder is the broader term, and then in the light sense, like they're suffering an anxiety, there's some-
Perturbation, yeah.
or a delusion of sorts. But I think mental disorder is the appropriate term.
I used to think I was pretty harsh, and I would be like, I don't believe in any of this bipolar ADD. That didn't exist when I was a kid. It was ADD. Now it's ADHD. They want to prescribe you more. I'm like, I don't believe. Either you're cool or you're losing your mind, and like how it happens, they want to put a label on it so that they can prescribe you a certain medicine and make some money off that label. And I feel the same thing with trans whatever. It's like, it's easy to go down that route of, I don't believe any of it's real. It's all in your mind. But
Yeah.
when people are suffering certain types of delusions, it's okay to label them or whatever you want to call them, not necessarily delusion, whatever, mental illness of any kind. It's okay to label them. That's where I am with like transgender, because I don't think gender is more of a concept of like,
Gender
how do you
is
feel?
make-believe.
Transsexual can't happen because you can't make a male body a female body. You make it look like one, but you can't make it a female
Sort
body.
of.
Yeah,
Even
you can
then.
make it resemble it. That's about it.
So I want to stress this: the only way that a man can surgically get the appearance of a woman is because we have created surgically altered women.
Yeah.
So typically, when you see, and I'm not saying this to be derisive, but it's true. When you see a trans woman, they've undergone many surgeries. Some can look like a woman who's undergone a bunch of surgeries. But I've not ever seen this is, and I mean this absolutely, a trans woman who actually looks like a woman. At most, they might look like, if they're what someone would describe as passing, extremely manly with massive hands and an Adam's apple or something like that.
That's all on the surface, and that's all like what you can scope. But like inside, who you really are, that doesn't change. That's what you got. So you can make cuts and precisions and put pieces in and take, but you're still you on the inside. So
And about
I understand
sorry,
the
I thought
state
you
of
were-
mind
You mean I
and
can't
not
be a
feeling.
dolphin?
What's that? You're not.
know.
You can never
You
be a
can
dolphin.
Whatever you
Have you
But
guys
the
seen
dolphins will
Tusk?
accept you as one of them.
Yes.
Where Justin Long is kidnapped and surgically transformed into a walrus?
No, I saw clips for that.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Sorry, Kaitlin, what were you saying?
No, I was going to ask if you guys, because this is a whole topic, like, oh, conservatives don't really care about women's sports. And I'll be honest, I don't really care about women's sports. It's not like I don't think most people care about it. But I think the bigger picture is that we care about the truth, which is that men cannot be women, women cannot be men. And if we have to go through that, through the women's sports issue to get to the truth, I'm okay with it.
Well,
You don't have to care about women's sports to care about women.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't want to see a contact sport where a guy who's in a masculine body that's taking progesterone or whatever female chemicals goes and levels some woman with his muscle torque, like because he was born for 20 years, had it like that. I don't want to see. That's where I'm at with sports. You want to play golf against somebody if it's consensual, But don't force girls that haven't consented to playing against guys that are transitioning to women. Like, don't
They
force
can't do
them.
that.
7-year-old boys and 7-year-old girls are different. There's a lie. They've pushed every step of the way, every manipulation they can. And so at first they argued men and women are completely the same. Some men are tall, some men are short. That's right. And some women are strong. And they argued a woman could be as strong as a man if they were just trained to be. And that was not true. And then they said, okay, well, it's because of testosterone. So, preview Besant kids are the same, but after puberty. So if we stop the puberty, then it's going to be equal. Another lie. I think I saw commentary, because I didn't listen to the whole Supreme Court thing, that Amy Coney Barrett had made an argument or had asserted that prepubescent children were there's no competitive advantage, which is just factually incorrect. In the womb, prenatal testosterone has an impact on fast twitch muscle and development. And okay, I'm sorry. How many kids do you have?
I have 2.
Do you have a boy and a girl?
I don't say.
Oh, okay. Well, then I won't make this personal for you.
Yeah.
But every time I talk to a parent who's had a boy and a girl, they go, "Oh, geez, are they different?"
I can
it's
agree.
Like
Yeah, well,
patently obvious to anyone who's had kids. The boy is just running around smashing things.
I remember in elementary school, the boys, I don't know if I'm going to be on camera, but it's like the boys would run like this and the girls would run like this, like up. They would have like this up-down energy when the guys
called
would be,
center
like,
of gravity.
Center of
barreling
gravity
forward.
thing.
It's also more aggressive. Like if you're a boy, you're more aggressive, so you're going to be hunched over to get that momentum. Whereas a girl probably isn't trying to be as aggressive when she's running.
Well, and that center of gravity develops like really young. I mean, it's like, okay, even if you could compare whatever metric you want, it's like the structure is going to be different as early as like as infants.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.